You don't win allies by trusting them. You win allies by making it harder to betray you than to benefit from you. Trust is a bedtime story told to tired men who want shortcuts through dangerous rooms. The real game is different. You will walk into a world of incentives and appetites, and you will leave with a network that moves when you move, not because they love you, not because they believe what you believe, but because you built rails that reward cooperation and punish defection without needing your constant presence. This is your last chance. You have spent too long offering friendship as collateral, revealing your heart like a ledger for strangers to spend, mistaking warmth for security. Tonight the performance ends. You will learn to win allies without trusting anyone, and you will do it by replacing faith with mechanics, hope with structure, and fragile loyalty with engineered alignment. Listen carefully. This isn't about becoming a statue or a villain. It is about becoming the kind of force ordinary people respect, because you make reality clearer and outcomes safer. You will still be kind where it matters. You will be useful without being used. You will give strategically and receive cleanly. But you will stop handing the keys of your nervous system to people whose promises dissolve the moment the room gets loud. If you can do that, the same people who once exploited your availability will begin to orbit your gravity, not because you changed your smile, because you changed the price of betrayal. First truth: allies are not friends. Friends are chosen by affection. Allies are chosen by geometry, position, supply, risk, leverage. A friend can become an ally, but only when you stop asking them to prove it with words and instead request a move on the board with cost attached. Second truth: trust is not required for cooperation. Repeatability is. A system that turns good behavior into compounding advantage will keep strangers honest longer than vows. Third truth: everyone you meet is running a private economy of time, status, money, risk, and story. They will invest in you if your presence increases the yield on their economy without forcing them to betray themselves. They will abandon you if you make them feel poor, poor in options, poor in reputation, poor in control. So your job is not to win hearts. It is to raise yields. How do you raise yields without trusting anyone? You master 5 pillars: clarity, containment, collateral, cadence, and consequence. Clarity first. Most alliances rot in ambiguity. Vague talk makes cheap promises. Cheap promises recruit unreliable hands. You will learn to make offers that a calculator can love. Every invitation you extend will be a 2-path frame. Option A and Option B, both acceptable to you, one recommended, each with scope, cost, risk, deadline, and the next 3 steps. Your sentence becomes a switch. Pilot versus rollout. Pilot buys speed with limited scope. Rollout buys certainty with change control. I recommend rollout. If they try to drag you into fog, you step onto paper. 1 page, 3 options, 1 recommendation. Decide Thursday. Clarity reveals adult allies and exposes children in adult suits. Adults lean in. Children perform loyalty with adjectives and vanish when it's time to sign. Containment next. You never hand your throat to a handshake. You do not merge calendars, bank accounts, or reputations with a person whose incentives you do not control. You partition risk like a surgeon with steady hands. Every collaboration is a sandbox. Limited permissions, narrow access, non-catastrophic failure. You encrypt pain. We start with a pilot with a kill switch at week 2. We use escrow. Funds release on acceptance criteria, not vibes. We co-brand only at delivery. Until then, this is a white label test. We ship on Thursdays. If week 3 leaks chaos, we revert to the last known good and dissect cause. Containment converts unknowns into manageable experiments, the way a dam converts a river into power instead of a flood. Collateral is your 3rd pillar. You will not believe in promises, you will price them. Collateral can be money, but more often it is position. Who holds the distribution? Who holds the data? Who holds the sequencing rights, the gate to procurement, the final say over acceptance? You will trade favors for options, not applause for IOUs. Your standard deal: you get speed, I get rights to the case study. Or, we waive the rush fee, we gain placement in your newsletter. Or, we accept a discount, We receive veto over changes that would break delivery. Collateral doesn't punish mistakes. It prevents one-sided risk. The fastest way to discover if someone is an ally is to ask them to lock a cost to their yes. Fake allies get allergic to paperwork. Real ones smile because paperwork protects adults from emotional theater. Cadence is the fourth pillar, and it is the one amateurs ignore. Rooms trust rhythm before they trust stories. You will ship on schedule, reply in windows, decide on a published day. You will stop campaigning for confidence with enthusiasm and start earning it with clocks. Cadence makes you predictable. Predictable makes you plannable. Plannable makes you profitable to others. Profit is the truest glue, the clean kind that does not leave residue when it's time to part. The moment you become a metronome, allies will design around you. They won't ask if you're committed. They'll ask for your Thursday. Consequence is the fifth pillar. Not revenge, repricing, not cruelty, cost. You will build a ladder for repeated violations. Late payments trigger fees and pauses. Scope violations route to phase 2. Missed reviews collapse options. Fabrications end privileges, not reputations. You will publish the ladder once. Then you will climb it without heat. Consequence replaces the exhausting rituals of outrage with the quiet, sober dignity of a rule that survived your mood. People who would have argued with your anger will comply with your policy. Adults crave this. They are tired of leaders who externalize their nervous system. You will become a thermostat. Less sound, more signal. Now the architecture. How do you structure alliances that don't need trust to function? You learn to build alignment stacks. Layers of mechanics that reduce the need for faith. Start with scope rails. What is in, what is out, and the acceptance criteria that bring done out of the clouds and into the ledger. Add change control. A simple form that moves ideas into priced items with timestamps. Insert a rush policy that converts panic into a purchase. Embed our premortems. It's week 3 and we failed. Why? And put the antidotes into your clocks, clauses, and checklists. Then install off-ramps. Exit conditions that preserve dignity and value even when you must part. Finally, wrap it in communication cadence, reply windows, decision day, ship day. This is not bureaucracy. This is armor for partnerships that will be tested by time and temperature. But you need more than structure. You need operating principles that harden your mind against the tricks humans play on themselves and each other. Learn these and you will stop bleeding for lessons you could have learned with a pen. First principle, assume self-interest, design mutual benefit. People say they want to help. What they mean is they want to help when helping feels like a win. You will not moralize this. You will turn it into architecture. You get X this week, Y next quarter. We get Z immediately. If their eyes don't light when the math clears, you're talking to a tourist. Tourists take pictures of your city and leave you the bill. Second principle, trust patterns, not promises. Promise is a speech, pattern is a history. Read patterns with the accuracy of a scientist and the seriousness of a prosecutor. Who hits deadlines? Who uses calendar invites? Who sends the clause in writing after agreeing verbally? Who never brings bad news early? A promise that contradicts a pattern is a bet against physics. Don't take it. If you must, shrink the scope and increase the collateral until physics looks bored. Third principle, never outsource your reputation. Co-brand after delivery. Accept credit with precision. Deflect blame with receipts. When someone tries to attach your name to their improvisation, ask for a decision document or detach politely. Your name is your pocket collateral. Spend it like a hawk, not a fountain. Fourth principle, silence is a tool, not a wound. You don't fill every gap with reassurance. You make adults sit in the arithmetic. When you present options and someone wails for comfort, count 5 beats and repeat the options. Do not add pillows. Pillows turn adults into toddlers and allies into liabilities. Fifth principle, leave cleanly, leave quickly. Every day you remain in a doomed alliance steals hours from the ones you could build without bleeding. Your off-ramp is not a threat. It is a discipline. We revert to pilot and end on Friday if criteria are not met. No hard feelings. Markets will reward you for not making your heartbreak public theater. Now to tactics. Field-tested moves that win allies without trusting anyone. Use them as is. They are clauses in human form. The two-path offer. Always present two good choices, one recommended. Train the room to decide without debate. You are not begging, you are vending decisions. A. We ship MVP Friday with X removed. B. We ship full scope the 29th. I recommend B. The one clause ask. Every request reduced to a single sentence adults can either accept or decline. Approve the rollout budget by Thursday 16 Saturn so we can secure the slot. If they can't handle a clause, they cannot handle an outcome. The mirror question. When you sense theater, ask, what would make this fail in week 3? Then be silent. Watch who brings real risks and who spits adjectives. The ones who name failure modes are potential allies. The ones who sell feelings are potential fires. The escrow habit. Money held by a neutral party with releases tied to acceptance criteria. If they scoff at escrow, ask for collateral in kind, placement, data, rights. Trust me is not an asset class. Escrow is. The pre-mortem promise. Before work begins, you lead a 3-sentence pre-mortem. It's week 3 and we failed because X, Y, Z. To prevent that, we enforce A, B, C. If they won't spend 15 minutes on prevention, they will spend months on blame. The cadence publish. You pin your reply windows decision day and ship cadence where people can see them. Then you obey your own clocks with religious quiet. You will be accused of being distant. Ignore it. Distance is what rhythm feels like to addicts of access. The consequence ladder. 3 rungs, written once. Friendly reminder, fee, pause, termination. When you enforce without heat, adults thank you privately for ending chaos early. They were tired of working where feelings outrank facts. The off-ramp gift. When you end, you leave value behind. A checklist, a documentation pack, a referral. Adults remember who exits like an engineer rather than a poet. This increases your future leverage. The circle of roles. Build allies by role, not relationship. The Mun broker introduces you to distribution. The shield absorbs political heat. The scout feeds you clean intel. The anchor gives your work a public home. The closer turns your momentum into signed paper. You do not need any one person to be all 5. You need 5 people to be 1 each. Roles are easier to recruit than soulmates. The one-page, how we win. Sheet, not a vision, a diagram. 3 lanes, yours, theirs, shared. The 4 success metrics, the 2 critical constraints, and where the money touches the work. You send it on day 1. If they don't send it back signed, you're not allied. You're auditioning. Let's talk about information hygiene. Weak networks die from gossip. Strong networks run on receipts. You will not gossip. You will not be the vacuum that turns rumor into wind. When someone brings you poison, you use the mirror question or you change the subject to a decision box. What choice are we making right now? If they can't name one, you end the conversation like a surgeon cauterizing a bleed. Your reputation will become boring to those who live on drama and safe to those who build. Boring and safe are how empires select suppliers. Your calendar is your citizenship. You will stop taking meetings that conflate therapy with work. You will ask, what decision will this meeting make? If none, you ask for a memo. If they cannot write the memo, they do not deserve your hour. Hours are non-refundable. You will spend them where adults build. Now the hard part, reconditioning your nervous system so it stops confusing warmth with security. You will be tempted to leak, over-explaining to prove you're not a bad person, apologizing for rules you should be proud to publish, bending your cadence to calm someone who refuses to calm themselves. Remember this. Being human is not a voucher for access. Your colleague's anxiety is real. So is gravity. Gravity does not bend for moods. Gravity is how bridges stand. You will feel guilt when you enforce. Guilt is domestication software. Upgrade it to responsibility. Did I harm? If yes, repair and install a rule that makes recurrence expensive. Did I merely disappoint? Then let the disappointment live in the body that created it. You were trained to harvest your peace for someone else's temporary comfort. You will stop. This is the moment where most men backslide. They mistake reluctance for conscience. They tell themselves that rules are unkind. They forget that the kindest thing you can give an adult is the chance to stand upright under real weight. Your rules are not cages, they are banks. Rivers without banks are floods, and floods drown villages while calling it love. Let's step through a field sequence. 7 nights to convert this philosophy into an operating system that attracts allies without trusting them. Night 1. Publish the Constitution. 10 lines. Sign it. Pin your cadence. Draft your consequence ladder. Write your change control and rush policy. Sleep. Night 2. Replace a meeting. Pick one weekly meeting that produces therapy instead of decisions. Replace it with a 1-page decision memo. Send it with times for your decision window. Enforce. Someone will grumble. Let them. You're installing rails. Night 3. Containment trial. Convert one live engagement to a pilot with escrow and a kill switch. Frame it. Pilot buys speed and safety. Rollout buys control and scale. Recommend pilot. Watch who flinches at escrow. That flinch is a revelation. It tells you who needed your trust because they had nothing else to offer. Night 4. Role map. Draw a circle and place the 5 roles: broker, shield, scout, anchor, closer. Now write one name next to each. If a seat is empty, target it this month. When someone asks how they can help, give them the role, not a vague invitation. In 3 intros to X-type buyers, you become broker. People rise to roles more reliably than to speeches about mission. Night 5. Install the mirror. In every conversation, use the mirror question once. What would make this fail in week 3? The ones who answer with needles, specific, sharp, are worth oxygen. The ones who speak in fog, "we'll just align" or "we'll figure it out," are not allies, they're weather. Night 6. Off-ramp drill. Choose one underperforming alliance. Offer a clean exit with a gift, documentation, a handoff, a template. End it. The sting you feel is withdrawal from the drug of being needed for the wrong reasons. Tomorrow, your calendar will feel different, heavier, better. Night 7. Publish How We Win. Take your best current alliance and write the 1-pager. Lanes, metrics, constraints, money touches. Send it. Ask for signature. If they sign it, you earned an ally. If they won't, you had a convenient fan. Fans cheer until the wind changes. Allies pay invoices. Do not expect applause. Expect reorganization. People who fed on your permeability will resent the diet. People who wanted structure will exhale and increase your surface area. Those who speak your new language, options, risks, cadence, will arrive like weather you can predict. You don't need 10,000 contacts. You need 10 hands that keep promises under pressure. The abundance you seek lives in the scarcity of reliable people. Reliability is attracted by rules, not by charisma. Now, a word about ethics. This whole approach means nothing if your leverage is built on lies. You will refuse to win via deception, not because you're pure, but because deception is a debt with compounding interest. It costs you your future allies. You'll operate with clean terms, written standards, and accurate pricing of risk. You'll protect the absent so the present feels safe telling the truth. You'll attribute wins with receipts because nothing accelerates a network like fair credit. You'll apologize once for real harm and then harden the system so that harm cannot be cheap. This is not sainthood. It is sustainable power. You may still hear a faint voice begging for trust, asking you to take the leap, to forgive the pattern, to give the benefit of the doubt one more time, to be the bigger person. The bigger person does not feed the crocodile their leg to save their hand. The bigger person builds a bridge and charges a toll that funds the next bridge. Let them keep their romance. You will keep your range. Let's confront the most persistent myth, that paranoia is the price of safety. It's not. Paranoia is the tax of poor design. If you design alliances correctly, you will sleep. Escrow, pilots, clear scopes, consequence ladders, pre-mortems, off-ramps, cadence. These are sedatives for the anxious and shock absorbers for the bold. You will become easier to love because you stop needing others to babysit your hope. You show up with rails. You leave with receipts. You return with rhythm. People start planning around you not because they trust your soul, but because they trust your clocks. What about crises? When a storm hits, your value doubles. You don't trust words. You trust systems. You freeze scope, revert to last known good, isolate cause, install the guardrail that would have prevented it, and only then resume velocity. Allies formed in storms are not forged by pep talks. They are forged by the relief of someone whose standards make pain finite. The first time you do this calmly, the room will call you cold. The second time, they will call you safe. The third time, they will call you first. Consider reputation. Stop curating it like a garden of soft petals. Build it like a dam. Your reputation is simple. Decisions in boxes, money in escrow, truth in clauses, cadence in calendars, consequence in ladders, exits with gifts. People will say, working with them is easy. Easy is the highest compliment competent people give. Easy means your presence reduces cognitive load. Easy means fewer lies, fewer apologies, fewer surprises that break everyone's week. Easy means ally. You will also build a private ledger of favors, not to weaponize, but to price reciprocity. Keep it simple. Who introduced you to revenue? Who shielded you from political fire? Who sent clean intel early? Who gave your work a home? Who closed the loop? Once a quarter, pay it down. Introductions, public credit, invitations, priority access. This ledger is not a scoreboard. It's a garden plan. You water what feeds the root. Don't ignore edge cases. Secret keepers, power borrowers, and halo chasers. Secret keepers trade intimacy for access. They want to be your confessional. Resist. You are not an oil well. Share sparingly and only under your code. Protect the absent. Truth with consequence. No gossip. If someone comes to you with another's blood on their tongue, they will bring yours to someone else tomorrow. Power borrowers orbit you to look bigger, not to build bigger. They introduce nothing but cameras. They repeat your phrases without paying the costs that make those phrases real. Distance politely. You can respect their hustle and refuse their proximity. Halo chasers praise loudly in public and negotiate loosely in private. They promise partnership to harvest your brand. Answer with paper. When they call you family, answer with scope. When they shout your name online, answer with invoice. These people aren't evil. They're hungry. You will feed them through rules or not at all. At some point, you will be accused of being calculating. It's true. Calculation built every bridge you've ever crossed and kept every plane in the air that carried you to a place you love. Calculation frees your kindness from duty. It lets you be generous without a hangover, helpful without humiliation, soft without dissolving. The man who cannot calculate must manipulate because he cannot make risks explicit. You will do the opposite. You will be explicit and exact. This is how adults become allies. Now, the closing instruction, the one that turns this lecture into bone. Stop announcing your standards and start enforcing them one time without heat. Enforcement is the only language a busy world respects. Say less. Point at the page. Move the lever. Let silence swallow the theater you used to applaud. The people worth keeping will adjust. The rest will drift toward rooms where feelings outrank facts and history repeats itself under new emojis. This is your last chance because you are out of hours to give to the wrong geometry. You know this. The proof is in your calendar, your blood pressure, the way your eyes scan for messages even on a walk. You did not come this far to die on the hill of being understood by those who profit from your confusion. You came to build something that works when you are tired. Allies are the scaffolding for that future. Win them with rails, not trust. Keep them with clocks, not compliments. Expand them with proofs, not pleas. If you remember nothing else, remember these 7 sentences. They are switches. Use them exactly. 1. No. Here's how this works. A or B. I recommend B. 2. Urgency without an external clock is theater. With a clock, it's priced. 3. We don't discuss scope during delivery. 4. I reply 11 to 12 and 16, 17. Decisions Thursday. 5. Done means acceptance criteria met in writing. 6. Per policy, we're at step 2 of the ladder. 7. Our off-ramp is Friday. I'll leave a clean handoff. Deliver them flat. Let paper carry the weight your throat used to carry. Watch how quickly the room corrects itself when gravity arrives. You wanted a world where you don't have to watch your back. That world doesn't exist, but this one does. A world where your back is guarded by standards, your time is guarded by cadence, your name is guarded by receipts, your heart is guarded by banks, and your alliances are guarded by math. Build that world and you won't need trust to win allies. You will have something better. A game where helping you is the easiest, honest move they can make. Stand now. Close your eyes once. Picture the rooms that used to eat you alive. Picture re-entering them with a page, a clock, and a ladder. Picture leaving with silence when someone performs panic. Picture the one person you thought you needed because you trusted them. Replace the need with a clause. Replace the hope with a calendar. Replace the fear with an off-ramp. Open your eyes. This is how it works.